I don't, Father Time is undefeated, and it's clear that Joe Biden is aging aggressively. And if you don't believe this and you're skeptical of that, go watch him announce his candidacy back in 2019 and look at where he is now. And so I believe, I read yesterday, I'm not sure that it's confirmed, that there are going to be no Democrat debates during the primary, and it's for good reason. And I could see, if Biden being the nominee, the Democrats not agreeing to any debates, as they did in a lot of key races in this last midterm cycle. The Democrats don't need debates. They have an unbelievable turnout machine through vote by mail and ballot harvesting. They can just show up. So whoever the D is on the presidential candidate is going to be extraordinarily formidable, because they have a built-in infrastructure to get out their low propensity votes.
But you sell into these moves. I mean, Microsoft is right behind Apple with a market cap of $2.1 trillion, Mike. Would you sell these stocks today going into the numbers?
Well, my favorite trade with a lot of these big tech names is wait for them to get crushed on earnings. So if any of these names have big disappointing earnings, that to me is been a very good entry point over the last few years. And then just to touch on Catherine's point before, both the stock and bond market are pricing in interest rate cuts, and that's what's caused their rallies. And, I liken the bond market to predicting a train wreck. So we need some sort of economic contraction, some sort of economic calamity for us to get rate cuts, according to the bond market, where I liken the stock market to a child playing on those same train tracks, not realizing what it's going to take to get this rate cut. So I think these tech stocks are vulnerable, but these are big, widely held names. There's still a lot of cash sloshing around there. And so playing earnings is extraordinarily difficult. And my favorite trade with all these big tech names is, again, if one of these names misses. So if we have a bad miss from Amazon, you see that stock in the 90s. If you see Microsoft correct 5 or 10%, or the same thing with Google or Facebook, that to me has historically been a very good entry point if you have a longer time frame, because these companies continue to win. And I don't see that stopping over the next 3 to 5 years.
All right, we'll leave it there. Catherine Rooney-Vera, great to see you. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. Michael Lee sticking with us. We're grateful. Thanks for
costs of not addressing it are going to be far greater.
The American Action Forum is estimating that the Green New Deal will cost up to $92.9 trillion. Michael, the numbers are mind-boggling.
Maria, we've gone from 18% to 19% renewables over the last decade with $4 trillion in investment. It's a joke. I mean, climate, deaths from climate-related disasters are down 97% over the last 100 years. Most of that is because of technology only available due to fossil fuels, right? Cheap, reliable energy is the lifeblood of every economy. In 2003, the UK adopted a net zero policy, and as a result, their GDP per capita has grown at 40% less than every other developed nation in the world. This is self-destruction from the climate hysteria. And this administration will tell you inflation is some magical force where no one knows where it comes from. Yet somehow with these policies, we can control the weather. It is laughable. It is insane. It is illegal. Okay, what they are doing now is making us less competitive to the rest of the world under the lie that we're in some sort of climate crisis or some sort of disaster that's coming. This needs to be stopped. The Inflation Reduction Act was simply a climate, the Green New Deal by different name. Also, you can hear it from them that they simply just don't care about the average American with this. And so if you look at this inflationary supercycle we're in, and the last PPI number that came out, the reason it fell off the map is because of the collapse in energy prices that we've seen from the reduction in demand over the last few months. So this administration's not only their spending, but their energy policy is just as responsible for the inflationary cycle we're in. And it's the only way to combat Russia and all these other evil forces in the world.
Yeah, and don't forget, this is the reason that AOC is attacking Kevin McCarthy, because in his debt ceiling bill, he is trying to stop all of that flow of money into this agenda. Liz, Musk fired back, tweeting, "I've donated $100 million to Ukraine." How much have you donated? Michael, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I think I agree with a lot of what Elon's done with Twitter. I paid for the blue check mark as soon as it became available. After you saw the coordinated attack from all the major Fortune 500 corporations trying to pull their ads and run this company in the ground and try to bankrupt Elon. And I think if you want some of these things to be, I don't think it's impartial. I don't think it's a complete free speech platform, but I think it's a million miles better than where it was. And if you're unwilling to pay for something like that in this day and age, these things just aren't going to exist because all the free platforms are run by basically deranged leftists.
Yeah, I just wish there wasn't so much hate on Twitter, Liz.